Do you ever feel like you're living a life that doesn't feel entirely yours? The project you abandon right before the breakthrough, the way you chase approval without even knowing why, the relationships that keep replaying the same painful script, that inner voice that whispers, "Who do you think you are?" These aren't random flaws. They're evidence of something far more dangerous, an invisible script written for you long before you had a choice. For years, you've mistaken the echo of old programming for your own voice. But here's the truth. If you don't uncover and rewrite these hidden codes, you'll keep living someone else's story, repeating the same mistakes, hitting the same walls, wondering why freedom and fulfillment always seem just out of reach. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about dissecting the architecture of your mind, where these scripts came from, how they silently control you, and how you can finally take back the pen to write your own life. Miss this and you risk performing a character designed by your past until the very end. But face it now, and you'll never see yourself, or your choices, the same way again. The script is running. The only question is, will you rewrite it, or will you keep acting it out? So what are these invisible scripts? They are not mere habits. They are the foundational, often unconscious belief systems etched into the circuitry of your mind. They are the automatic algorithms of your being, formed primarily in childhood, not as truths but as survival mechanisms. Your younger self, in a world that felt too large and too unpredictable, wrote these rules to protect you, to keep you safe, to help you belong. But what protected a child now constrains the adult you were meant to become. Think of your brain not as a static organ, but as a relentless builder. This is the neuroscience of it, the principle of neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you repeated a thought, every time you succumbed to a fear, every time you played out the same story, you weren't just thinking, you were construction. You were paving a neural pathway, making that route deeper, wider, and infinitely faster to travel. What was once a faint trail in a forest of possibilities has become a superhighway. Your thoughts now default to it. This is how a script becomes invisible. You stop seeing the road entirely. You just find yourself already on it, heading toward a familiar destination of self-doubt, anxiety, or sabotage, without remembering making the turn. These scripts draw their power from three primary sources. First, core beliefs, the deepest, most personal convictions. I am not good enough. I am unlovable. The world is unsafe, and I cannot handle it. These are not facts. They are conclusions drawn by a child trying to make sense of complex emotional events. Second, cognitive biases, the systematic errors in thinking that act as the script's bodyguards. Confirmation bias, forever scanning the horizon for evidence that supports the core belief while blinding you to everything that contradicts it. Catastrophizing, writing the worst-case scenario into every scene. Black and white thinking, eliminating all nuance and forcing you into a false binary. You are either a success or a failure, loved or abandoned, with no territory in between. And third, conditioning. The messages absorbed from family, culture, religion, and early trauma. The unspoken rules about money, about gender, about what constitutes a worthy life. These are the stage directions whispered from the wings, telling you where to stand, how to speak, and what role you are allowed to play in the grand production. You inherited a script long before you knew you could write your own lines. The recognition, how to identify your own scripts. Now that you know what to look for, the curtain pulls back. The scripts are there, operating just beneath the surface of your awareness. But how do you catch them? How do you hear the faint whisper of a program running in the background of your mind? You become a detective of your own inner world. You learn to spot the glitches in your own matrix, and you do it by paying attention to four key areas: your triggers, your patterns, your self-talk, and the wisdom of your own body. First, your emotional triggers. These are not the minor irritations of daily life. A trigger is a situation, a word, a tone of voice that causes a reaction in you that is immediate, intense, and feels disproportionate to the event itself. A crushing wave of shame from a minor critique at work, a flash of white-hot rage at a partner's innocent question, a paralyzing bolt of anxiety when you're asked to share an opinion. That disproportionate reaction is a giant flashing arrow pointing directly to an old, wounded belief. The script has been activated. The critic is on stage, and it's reading its lines with conviction. Second, look for the patterns of behavior. Life has a tendency to rhyme. Do you find yourself facing the same negative outcome in different jobs, with different partners, in different cities? Do you always seem to be the unappreciated hero, the misunderstood genius, the one who is always taken advantage of? If your story has a predictable second and third act, you are not the victim of bad luck. You are the author following a tired, well-worn script. The set design changes, the actors wear different faces, but the plot is always the same. Third, and perhaps most telling, is your automatic negative self-talk. Listen to the narration inside your head, especially in moments of stress or failure. The thoughts that begin with "I always" or "I never" or "people will." These are not just passing thoughts. They are the literal lines of the script being recited. I always mess things up. I never get what I want. People will think I'm a fraud. This is the voice of the invisible author, and it speaks in absolutes. It deals in permanence and pervasion, convincing you that a single event defines your entire existence. Finally, learn the language of your SARS, bodily sensations. Your body keeps the score of every silent battle. It knows the script by heart, often before your conscious mind has even registered the scene. That knot of tension in your stomach when you consider asking for a raise, the sudden hollow feeling in your chest when you think about being alone, the clenched jaw, the shallow breath, the weight on your shoulders when you're about to step into a social situation. Your body is not lying to you. It is sounding the alarm. It is telling you that a familiar, dangerous story is about to begin, and it is bracing for impact. This is the physical manifestation of an invisible script. The rewriting process, a four-step framework. Awareness alone is not freedom. Recognizing the prison is the first step, but it is not the same as walking out of the gate. The old pathways are deep. The scripts are familiar. Their pull is gravitational. To break their hold, you need more than a realization. You need a methodology, a precise, repeatable process of neurosculpting. This is how you pick up the pen and become the author of your life. This is the four-step framework to rewrite your invisible scripts. Step 1. Catch the script. This is the moment of awakening. Your first and most crucial task is to interrupt the autopilot. It is to notice the script in the very moment it begins to play. This requires a gentle, non-judgmental mindfulness. You are not trying to stop the thought. You are simply the observer in the projection booth, noticing which film has been put on the reel. The goal is to create a single, critical moment of space between the trigger and your reaction. In that space lies your freedom, and the most powerful tool for this is a simple phrase: name it to tame it. When you feel that familiar surge of emotion, that old, tired thought, you say it aloud. Ah, there it is. That's my "I'm a fraud" script. Here comes my "I don't belong here" story. You are not the script. You are the one noticing it. This simple act of naming separates you from the program. It diffuses the thought from your identity. It is the first act of rebellion. Step 2. Interrogate the script. Now, with the script identified and held at arm's length, you must put it on the witness stand. You must cross-examine it with the ruthless curiosity of a detective seeking the truth. This is where you move from awareness to active challenge. You ask 3 pivotal questions. First, is this thought 100% true? Demand evidence. Would it hold up in a court of law? Or is it a conclusion built on a shaky foundation of childhood logic and cherry-picked memories? Second, what is the evidence against this thought? Here, you actively become the defense attorney for your own potential. You collect every piece of data that contradicts the script's narrative. That time you succeeded, the people who love you, your strengths, your resilience. You build a case for a different truth. And third, the most pragmatic question of all, is this thought helping me or harming me? Does believing this make you stronger, wiser, more courageous? Or does it shrink you, fill you with fear, and keep you stuck? You must see the script not just as a lie, but as an active impediment to your life. This interrogation drains the script of its power. It reveals it for what it is, an outdated piece of software, not a fact of your existence. Step 3. Draft a new narrative. You cannot simply delete a story. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you tear down an old script without building a new one, the old familiar words will rush back in to fill the silence. So you must consciously, deliberately write a new one. This is an act of profound creativity and compassion. You take the old cruel line and you rewrite it with wisdom and grace. You turn the absolutist condemnation into a nuanced, compassionate truth. I must be perfect to be loved becomes, I am worthy of love and connection exactly as I am. I am a fraud becomes, I am capable and learning, and my value is not defined by a single performance. This is not empty affirmation. This is a conscious choice to author a belief that is both more accurate and more empowering. Write it down. Speak it aloud. This new narrative is the blueprint for the new neural pathway you are about to build. Step 4. Rehearse and embody. The final step is where knowledge becomes being, where the new script moves from words on a page to the truth in your bones. This is achieved through repetition and action. You must rehearse the new narrative until it becomes as automatic as the old one. Use visualization. Close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself navigating a triggering situation with the new belief as your guide. Feel what it feels like to be that person. Use affirmations, not as robotic chanting, but as a solemn declaration of your new truth. But most importantly, you must act as if. You must take small, deliberate actions that are aligned with the new script, not the old one. If your new script is, "My voice has value," you must speak up in the meeting. The action is the final, crucial step that tells your brain, this is real, this is who we are now. Every time you take that action, no matter how small, you are not just behaving differently. You are firing and wiring new neurons. You are physically carving the new pathway in your brain. You are engraving the new script into your system, one courageous action at a time. This is how you move from understanding to embodiment. This is how you make the new story yours. And so you stand at the threshold. You now hold the map to your own mind. You can see the invisible architecture that has held you captive. You possess the tools to dismantle it, beam by beam, and rebuild something stronger, something truer. Remember this. You are not your scripts. You are not the sum of your conditioning. You are the awareness that witnessed it all. You are the one who holds the pen. The power was never outside of you. It was merely buried under layers of outdated programming. This work, this rewriting, is not a one-time event. It is a practice. It is the daily, conscious choice to show up as the author of your life, not just a performer in it. There will be days the old lines echo loudly. On those days, be kind to yourself. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. It is about choosing, again and again, to walk the new path until it becomes the only path you remember. Now, the most important step begins. The step you take after this video ends. Your first act of authorship is to name your script. Give it voice. Make it real. So I want you to do this. Comment below and share one invisible script you've identified. Give it a name. The "I'm not good enough" script. The "people will abandon me" script. By naming it publicly, you rob it of its power. You become part of a community of authors, all rewriting their stories together. This is your starting line. If this exploration resonated with you, if you felt seen in a way you rarely are, then subscribe. This channel is dedicated to one thing: giving you the tools to understand and master your own mind. We go beyond surface-level fixes to explore the deep architecture of human experience. The old story ends today. The new one begins with your very next choice. Make it count.